channel. Um, Today's news update is about a familiar lady that I'm pretty sure a lot of people know about, known as That Vegan Teacher. And man, what a piece of work this woman really is. I mean, I have seen some really crazy stuff in my life, honestly. But this woman, I don't even know how to explain it other than I think in truth she needs to be put somewhere. You know, you want to eat what you want to eat, that's fine. You know, go ahead and eat whatever it is you want to eat. It makes you happy to not eat, meat. It's your go ahead. But when you try to force other people to do what you are doing, it's not right. And I know there are going to be some people that try to say, well, y'all, you people who believe in God try to enforce, you try to enforce your beliefs on them, and I'm like, well, one thing, no, we're not. We're not trying to force anybody to believe in God. Yes, there may be those who speak on the streets, and there may be those who preach the truth in church or in a gathering. But in the end, it is always the person listening's choice to accept or to walk away. Because that is what is called free will, which was given to us by God. Either that or we would be mindless robots doing whatever He programmed us to do. And I have seen a preacher who preaches, and he uses this preaching method where he says, imagine if a person kidnapped you and chained you in the basement and said, because so many people, let me go back before I say what he said. Basically, a lot of people don't understand if God is so understanding and God is love and all that stuff. Why does He let things happen the way they've been happening? And then that's when he uses this preaching metaphor, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, basically, he was basically kind of using a parable in a way, like Jesus did back in the time when he preached and spoke of the kingdom of heaven. But a lot of times, Jesus did not really talk about heaven that much. He talked about the dangers of hell. So, it's very interesting that so many people don't realize that. But going back to the way that the guy used this preaching method of using something that is like a parable, if a guy kidnapped a person, chained them up in their basement, and said, you are going to have my kids and you are going to marry me, would that be free will? Would that be a choice? No. That is why God doesn't make a person come to Him. They have to decide for themselves if they're going to come to God. Now, if a person wants to live a healthy lifestyle, I guess they could, try to eat more vegetables and other things. But it doesn't mean that a person should try to force them to do it instead of giving them a choice. And unfortunately, that's what this lady does. Like me, myself, I like eating meat. I like chicken. I like steak. I like hamburgers. It's delicious. I love those things. And I enjoy it. And it's delicious. I got good iron in my blood. And all that. But I have seen this lady, who is known as the vegan teacher, not only mock people's lives and make their lives hard, but then she's also mocked people of faith. She stood outside of a building in one of her videos talking to a statue. Mocking Jesus because supposedly it was a statue of Jesus, and in truth, that's not Jesus. We don't know what Jesus really looked like, and we're not supposed to be doing what is being done there. We don't know what he looks like. All we know is that he was here on earth. He died. He was buried, and on the third day, he rose again. And this lady always tries to use people eating meat as they're not going to be able to enter heaven. Well, in truth, that's not true. So let's go ahead and go to the scripture, shall we? Alright. So, we are going to start with Matthew 14:13 to 21. Okay? So when Jesus heard it, he departed from there by boat. And, let's see, he departed by boat to a different place by himself. But when the multitude heard it, they followed him on foot from the cities. And when Jesus went out, he saw a great multitude, and he was moved with compassion for them, and healed their sick. When it was evening, I'm a little tired, evening, his disciples came to him, saying, "This is a disturbed place, and the hour is already late. Send the multitude away that they may go into the villages and buy themselves food." But Jesus said to them, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." And they said to him, "We have here only 5 loaves and 2 fish." He said, Bring them here to me." He commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass. And he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and he broke, and he looked up to heaven. He blessed and broke and gave the loaves to his disciples, and they gave to the multitude. So They all ate and were filled, and they took up 12 baskets full of the fragments that remained. Now those who had eaten were about 5,000 men, besides the women and children. And for some reason, I don't see it including the fish in this, which I know it does. I've read it many times. So, let's go ahead and go to the Bible I got right here next to me, because I know that it actually includes the fish. I've read it, I've heard it, and I've read it many times. That, so, yeah. I just, I don't understand why people think that if a person eats meat, that it's supposedly a sin, which it's not true. It's not a sin. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that it's a sin to eat meat. Now, back in the old days, for the rites of purification, yes, you were not supposed to eat, like, certain things. But they were still able to eat lamb and stuff like that. So, or even fish. But it had to be certain fish back in those days. It had to be, like, I believe, fish that weren't bottom feeders. So, yeah. But so let's go ahead and find this scripture in my Bible real quick. Just give me a minute. I'm going to look for it real quick because I know it continues. All right, so let's see. That's 14. Okay. Okay, so 13. Okay, here we are. It's the exact same scripture. I just didn't click on reading whole scripture. Okay. Buy themselves food, Jesus said to them. They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat. And they said to him, we have here only 5 loaves and 2 fish. He said, bring them here to me. Then he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass, and he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and broke and gave them loaves to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the multitude. So they ate and were filled, and they took up 12 baskets full of the fragments that remained. Now those who had eaten were about 5,000 men, besides the women and children. So, they ate the fish, they ate the bread. So right there, that proves even the followers of Christ in the time when Christ was still on earth. Before, this even took place before his crucifixion. So this is in the book of Matthew. Now, if we go over here to the book of Acts, which does not seem to be on the screen right now, I will close that real quick. So let's just go ahead and go back, as I was trying to fix my channel here. It was acting a little on the crazy side. Okay, let's see. See if I can get back to the, here we are. So let's go ahead and put the display back on. So we're gonna go down here. So his disciples, Simon Peter, Thomas called the twin, and all of them, they went out fishing. They didn't catch anything all night, and then the morning came. Jesus appeared on the shore, and he said, "Children, have you any food?" They answered him, "No." He said to them, "Cast the net on the right side of the boat, and you will find some." So they cast, and now they were not able to draw it in because the multitude of fish. Therefore the disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." Now when Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put his outer garment he put on his outer garment, and he removed because he had removed it, and plunged into the sea. But the other disciples came in the little boat, for they were not far from land, but about 200 cubits, drawing the net with fish. Then, as soon as they had come to land, they saw a fire of coals there, and fish laid on it and bread. Jesus said to them, "Bring some of the fish which you have just caught." So, if it was a sin to be able to eat animals, why would he say, "Bring some of the fish that you had just caught"? I mean, I get people out there wanting to live a good, healthy lifestyle and wanting to maybe live longer, but here's the thing, and this is the truth. Nobody knows the time in which they're going to die, or how long they're going to live for. So, even a person who lives a vegan lifestyle can also most likely develop health issues. So, it doesn't matter what you eat, you can still develop health issues. And yet, this lady, she smears people. She smears. And to be honest, I don't know if this woman really believes in God or not. I really don't know. But I know that in the last video that I watched on YouTube, she was mocking the death of Charlie Kirk. And it's sad, because I actually watched Charlie Kirk's videos, and he was a really, really caring person. Like, he cared for the youth of this nation. I mean, here's the thing. He was trying to save people from the crazy thought, the crazy ideology going on out there in the world. I mean, I've seen so many preachers actually use different methods of trying to talk to people. I mean, and the crazy ideology of a man saying that he's a girl. Okay, so if I climbed up in a tree and I started flapping my arms and I said I was a bald eagle, does that mean I'm going to fly across the sky like one? No. It means I'm going to plunge to the ground and basically strike the ground with my body, probably get some bruises, broken bones, probably. But it doesn't mean that I'm a bald eagle just because I think I'm one. And that's the truth. You know, I'm going to have my friend on in a little while, if he has time. I'm gonna try to call him, and I wanna ask him some questions about different things. Because I'm gonna try to make this channel really good to reach out to people for the kingdom of God, because that's what this is gonna be based for. I want to thank, I thank Jesus for everything. I thank Him for my children, my wife and children, the life that I have, and all that. So I really hope that everybody stays safe out there, and I hope you tune in. I've got to figure out how to get this. I may switch over from OBS to Prism Live. Maybe they've updated it. I'm actually starting to get a little tired of OBS. OBS seems to be, I don't know, a little weird lately. It's not working correctly. So I'm thinking about, while I'm offline, switching over to Prism Live, just to see if I can get it to work again. Because I used to use Prism Live, and then I quit. So thank you for tuning in. Hope you have a great day and stay safe.